Most men hear a woman say daddy and think it's a joke, or worse, something kinky. But here's the truth. When she whispers daddy in your ear, she's not making fun of you. She's not pretending to be a child. She's telling you, subconsciously, that she finally feels safe enough to let go. Because daddy isn't about age. It's far deeper than that. It's about energy. A woman doesn't want a man who competes with her. She doesn't need another emotional roommate. She wants containment, presence, leadership that doesn't need to scream to be felt. When life feels like chaos, when her mind is spinning with self-doubt, drama, and fear, she instinctively searches for the one presence that can steady the storm. Not control it, but absorb it, anchor it, and guide it through. That presence is masculine emotional authority. It's the same instinct that drives a child to run to their father during a thunderstorm, not because he's perfect, but because he's unshakable. Think back to your childhood, when the world felt too big, too loud, too confusing. Did you care whether your dad had abs or $1 million? No, you cared about one thing. Could he handle it? Could he fix the broken bike? Could he calm the chaos in the house? Could he say, everything's gonna be okay, and make you believe it? That's the energy. That's the frame she's looking for in a man. So when she calls you daddy, it's not just affection. It's her nervous system relaxing. It's her body saying, you feel like home. You feel like safety. I trust you to take the wheel when I can't. And this, right here, is where most men get it wrong. They think it's about dominance, or aggression, or trying to be alpha. But true masculine leadership isn't loud. It's not performative. It's still, rooted, unmoved. It's the kind of presence that says, you can scream, cry, spiral, and I'm still here. I'm still centered. I don't chase storms, I anchor them. This is the foundation of emotional polarity. She wants to fall, but only if she knows you'll catch her. She wants to surrender, but only if she knows you won't crumble under her chaos. She wants to call you daddy, but only if you've earned it through your discipline, not your dominance. Emotional authority, what she's really testing. Men think they're being attacked, that she's picking a fight, that her attitude means she's unhappy, but in reality, she's searching for something. A woman doesn't test you to break you. She tests you to find you, to locate the man behind the mask, to see if your strength is real or just a performance. Every emotional outburst, cold silence, sarcastic jab, is her nervous system asking, can I lean on this man? Will he collapse or contain me? This is not conscious behavior. She doesn't sit there plotting how to test your masculinity, but her body knows, and your response tells her everything. Fail that test, flinch, overreact, justify yourself, and something inside her clicks off. The respect drops, the glow fades, she doesn't even know why. The child analogy, why she acts like that. Think of a child testing their father. They disobey, they provoke, not because they hate him, but because they need to feel his edge, the boundary that says, you're safe here because I'm in charge. A child pushes limits to know someone stronger is present, not cruel, not emotional, just grounded, firm, fair. It's the same mechanism in women. She pushes your buttons, she disrespects subtly, not because she wants to leave, but because she's desperate to stay, but only if you're a man she can believe in. The weak man thinks, I just want peace, so he compromises, explains, apologizes. He doesn't realize, every time he trades his authority for approval, she dies a little inside, and eventually, she becomes resentful, not because you're bad, but because now she has to lead. She's driving the emotional ship, and no woman wants to steer while calling you daddy. Authority versus control, what real strength feels like. You don't scream to assert power, you don't micromanage, you don't chase. That's not authority, that's fear in disguise. True emotional authority is subtle. It's in your tone, your silence,
your refusal to explain yourself over and over again. It's in how you say no and never look back. It's in how you maintain your rhythm, even when she tries to speed things up. A man who doesn't move just to please her? Terrifyingly attractive. A man who can sit in the fire of her emotions and not blink? Unforgettable. When you stop trying to manage her perception and start embodying your values, you don't just earn respect, you create gravity. And in that gravity, she softens. She spirals into surrender. She calls you daddy, not as a fetish, but as a nervous system response, because her body has finally found what it's been testing for, a man who can hold her storms without becoming one. Discipline over desire, the calm that drives her wild. You think she wants passion. You think she wants fire. You think desire is enough. It's not. Desire without discipline is chaos, and chaos is what she already has inside. She doesn't want you to join her storm. She wants you to anchor it. There are two kinds of men in this world. The man who follows his urge. He texts when he's anxious. He explains when she pulls away. He shows too much too soon. He trades mystery for validation and calls it honesty. Then there's the man who governs himself. He feels the same urges, but doesn't act on all of them. He responds when it's time. He reveals when it's earned, and he speaks when silence won't carry more weight. This man isn't colder, he's clearer. He doesn't hide his emotions, he holds them. And that's why she can't stop thinking about him. Why containment is more seductive than expression. She doesn't want your chaos. She wants your capacity. It's not about never being sad, jealous, or afraid. It's about not letting those emotions leak all over her. Containment is the difference between a candle and a wildfire. Both burn, but only one feels safe to be near. When you can stand in front of her with sadness in your chest and a steady gaze in your eyes, she trusts you. She sees a man who won't crumble under her pressure, a man who can witness her fire without needing to extinguish it or panic, and in that containment, she melts. Her safety lies in your emotional control. You want her to feel safe? It's not in your bank account. It's not in your six-pack. It's not in the number of books you've read on relationships. It's in the way you regulate your tone when she's yelling. It's in the way you pause before speaking when you're hurt. It's in the way you stand tall when she tests every nerve in your body. Your emotional control is her nervous system's home. If you can't hold your own chaos, how can she possibly give you hers? And if she can't give you hers, she'll give it to someone else or carry it alone. Either way, you lose her. Discipline is the sexiest form of masculinity. Discipline is more than routine. It's a presence. A disciplined man walks slower, speaks less, says more. He chooses action over reaction. He doesn't chase highs. He creates depth. When he touches her, it's not from need, it's from grounded choice. And that's what drives her insane. Not what you say, not how fast you move, but the calm, deliberate rhythm of a man who's already full. This kind of presence doesn't come from theory. It's built in the practice, sitting in silence longer than is comfortable, delaying gratification until you choose, not crave, speaking less when emotions rise so your words carry weight, training when you don't feel like it because your body needs to know who's in charge. Discipline trains your nervous system, so when her emotions hit like a wave, you're already grounded. And when you're grounded, she can finally collapse into her softness. That's what she craves more than your lust. Not your heat, your stillness, not your noise, your poise, because when you no longer need to prove yourself, she can finally choose you. And when she does, she won't just choose your body, she'll choose your leadership. The father archetype, why she needs you to be unshakable. Let's end where it all begins. In her mind, in her nervous system, in the blueprint she doesn't even know is guiding her choices. We're talking about the father archetype, not the literal dad, but the emotional anchor etched deep in her psyche. the image of a man who doesn't shake, no matter the storm, the hidden symbolism of daddy. You've heard the term, you've joked about it, you've heard it whispered in the dark, moaned in moments of surrender. Daddy. It's not just a kink. It's not about age. It's about authority. It's about containment. It's about safety. When a woman says daddy, she's not imagining a biological father. She's channeling a primal need for emotional protection, for a man who makes the world feel ordered again. This isn't Freudian. This is archetypal. She wants what every child once needed, someone who knows, who leads, who stays calm, even when she's falling apart. That's not a fantasy. That's a psychological necessity wired into her biology. Why? Daddy issues are more than a meme. We laugh about daddy issues. We turn it into memes. But here's the truth. A woman with unresolved emotional wounds from absent, weak, or chaotic father figures will unconsciously seek men who can fill that vacuum, not to recreate the pain, but to finally resolve it. The chaos she grew up with, she wants the opposite of that now. She wants to hand over the wheel, but only to a man who doesn't drive off a cliff the moment she cries. That's why women test. That's why they push. That's why they seek drama. It's not because they want control. It's because they want to know, can you handle me without breaking? If you can, she can finally stop fighting. She can finally soften. And for the first time in her life, she can trust what it means to be her anchor. You don't have to be perfect. You don't need a six-figure income, perfect physique, or spotless past. You just need to be unshakable. When she's moody, you stay grounded. When she lashes out, you don't escalate. When she spirals, you hold the frame, not to control her, not to silence her, but to give her what no one else could: stability. The man who becomes her anchor doesn't fight for power. He embodies it, quietly, calmly, relentlessly. And that energy, it pulls her in like gravity, because when she finally feels your steadiness, her chaos finds a home. You want her loyalty, her respect, her deepest surrender. Be the man who doesn't need to raise his voice to be heard. Be the man who sets boundaries without drama. Be the man whose silence is louder than other men's desperation. When she looks into your eyes and sees no flinch, no neediness, no insecurity, no chaos, she finally breathes, not because you dominate her, but because you've mastered yourself. That's what she's been looking for, not perfection, but presence. The final truth: be the man she chooses, not the one who begs. At the end of the day, here's what you need to understand. You don't earn her by pleading. You don't keep her by performing. You don't lead her by controlling. You earn her devotion by being the one thing she cannot find in the world around her. A man who is calm in the fire, clear in confusion, solid in his silence, and certain in his mission. She doesn't want to be your mommy. She doesn't want another emotional boy. She wants the father energy her nervous system never got but always needed. Be that. Live that. And you'll never have to chase another woman again. She'll choose you every day, every storm, every time. Not because you asked her to, but because you became the man her soul recognizes. And that, brother, is what makes you the man she calls daddy.